Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week, the Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct showcased near future plans for the Microsoft gaming division and gave us an idea of what to expect from upcoming Xbox and PC games over the next year or so. It began with a digital version of British comedian Richard Ayoade introducing the new gameplay trailer for Fable, showcasing its detailed comedic fantasy world. Richard is eventually revealed to be a giant in the world, and eventually chases down the protagonist. No other details about the game were shared. A gangly stop-motion undead blues musician named Shaking Bones opened the next trailer as a young woman and her pet rabbit approach. She's looking for a huge, sneaky creature. Bones refuses to help, and she prepares some kind of webbed power. According to its Steam page, South of Midnight is an action-adventure from Compulsion Games, who also made We Happy Few. Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws was next, which is being developed by Massive Entertainment, who also made Tom Clancy's The Division. The debut trailer opens with a bounty hunter who quickly leaves her card game in the cantina to avoid pursuit, along with her furry little companion. She jumps on a speeder bike and escapes into the city. Star Wars Outlaws was shown off at Ubisoft Forward as well, where it got some actual gameplay, which featured a third-person shootout and dialogue choices. Star Wars Outlaws is due to be released sometime in 2024. Next up in the Xbox Showcase, Thunder Lotus, the developer of Spiritfarer, then revealed its next game, the combat-focused 33 Immortals. It takes place from a top-down perspective and involves 33-player cooperative gameplay, as the Crusader-like protagonists fight hordes of enemies and solve puzzles, in a quest to seemingly take down a god. It's coming in 2024, and will be available on the Xbox Game Pass. The sequel to Starbreeze's criminal heist game Payday 3 was then shown, featuring plenty of familiar bank-robbing co-op shooting action of course, and that will be arriving on the 21st of September 2023. And will also be available on the Xbox Game Pass. Following that was the trailer for the upcoming remake of PlayStation 2 RPG Persona 3, called Persona 3 Reload. It completely remakes the game in the Unreal Engine, and it's coming sometime in 2023, and will also be available on the Xbox Game Pass. The next RPG from Obsidian Entertainment was then shown, a first-person RPG set in a fantasy world. The game is called Avowed. It seems to be the company's take on the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, just as the Outer Worlds was its take on Fallout. It features melee combat and plenty of magic, and will be coming in 2024, and also available on the Xbox Game Pass. Next up was a Sea of Thieves expansion, based on The Secret of Monkey Island. We were given a look at iconic locations like the Scum Bar, as well as characters like Stan S. Stanman, the boat salesman, and series antagonist LeChuck. It launches on the 20th of July 2023. Then from Asbo Studio comes the next installment in its Microsoft Flight Simulator series, which introduces a manner of aerial task simulations like agricultural aviation, mountain rescue aerial construction, firefighting, and cargo transportation. There's plenty more on top of that, of course, including hot air balloons, and it's coming in 2024. Additionally, it was also announced that a collaboration with the film Dune is coming to Flight Simulator on the 3rd of November 2023. Following that was Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, a new look at the upcoming action game sequel from Ninja Theory, and it focused on the internal struggles that Senua will be dealing with this time around. It's coming sometime in 2024. Then the next trailer comes from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, with protagonist Ichiban Kasuga waking up naked on an American beach, confused and scared. And that was about it. It was a short teaser trailer for the next game in the series, which seems to be leaving the setting of Japan for the first time. It's coming early 2024. A trailer for the next expansion for Bethesda's live service game Fallout 76 was then shown, demonstrating all new locations and enemies coming to the game, including the gambling heaven of Atlantic City. And then next we had a game from Capcom, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. Set in a mythological Japanese world, it features protagonists wielding weapons and magic in a colourful, saturated and gruesome world with plenty of horrific creatures. It looks to be a cooperative multiplayer action game, but no release date was revealed. Then we had a short history of General Motors, which served as an introduction to Forza Motorsport, announcing a partnership for the upcoming game. In-game footage of a race featuring GM cars, like Corvettes, then followed, including looks at car customization. The game is arriving on the 10th of October 2023. And then there was a trailer for MMO The Elder Scrolls Online, showcasing the action of the newest expansion, Necrom, and introduces 2 new worlds to explore, a new Arcanist class to master, and a story full of ancient secrets to uncover. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim Necrom arrives on the 20th of June 2023. A trailer for the next major update in Overwatch 2 was then shown, featuring the cast of characters taking down the mechs of Null Sector. The update will feature new game modes, hero mastery challenges, new co-op events, and maps. A new character was also teased. The new content will launch on the 10th of August 2023. Next up was the trailer for upcoming tactical strategy RPG based on the Persona 5 universe, Persona 5 Tactica. The game features a chibi style for the cast of characters and involves them diving into new universes and taking place in turn-based battles. It will be available on the 17th of November 2023 and will be part of the Xbox Game Pass. Then a trailer for Starfield followed, beginning with narration about the vast reaches of space, and a quick montage of various worlds, cities and human factions was then shown, before a bit about the plot was detailed. The game will involve the recovery of mysterious artifacts in an effort to save humanity's existence in its universe. Starfield did of course get its own focused direct after the showcase, which showed off gameplay, featuring both a first and third person camera to choose between, which has become pretty standard in Bethesda titles. Todd Howard says that Starfield is a Bethesda RPG through and through, only it's over 1,000 worlds now instead of one. A quick montage showed several different planets and possibilities, which are procedurally generated. Bethesda describes its style of Starfield as NASA punk, where everything is grounded but stylish, with the intention to make everything feel lived in. A look at the world map was also shown, beginning on the planet, then pulling out into a solar system map, and then even further into a galaxy map, showcasing the sheer quantity of explorable locations, though you'll need an upgraded ship to jump to locations further afield. Starfield will be released on the 6th of September of 2023, but also in the Xbox Showcase was the new game from Don't Nod called Jusant. It looks like the game will heavily involve mountain climbing and climbing puzzles, and is coming in autumn of 2024. The next game was from the Chinese Room, who also made Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Their new game is Still Wakes in the Deep. It's a spooky first-person narrative game that takes place on an oil rig in the 1970s, and it's coming early 2024. A third-person action game was then shown, featuring a brightly coloured cel-shaded world. It involves lots of action combat, ziplining, and rail grinding. That game is Dungeons of Hindenburg, and it's coming sometime 2024. Actor Keanu Reeves then introduced the next trailer and expressed his sincere gratitude for sharing the screen with Idris Elba in the upcoming expansion for Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. It's coming on the 26th of September 2023. A new trailer for the city building simulator City Skylines 2 was then shown, which is arriving on the 24th of October 2023. It's also coming to Xbox Game Pass. A new game from Atlas's Persona team was then shown, called Metaphor ReFantasio. It's an RPG which involves a fantasy-style industrial world, and a celestial theme, and a turn-based combat system. It's coming sometime 2024. A brand new game from the developers of the Banner Saga was then shown, and it's very different to the Banner Saga. This one is called Towerborn, which is a fantasy-themed co-op action-adventure game that looks like an homage to classic arcade side-scrolling brawlers like Capcom's Dungeons & Dragons game from the 1990s. It's coming sometime in 2024. The final game in the Xbox Showcase was Clockwork Revolution, which is made by In Exile Entertainment, and is set in a steampunk city. An oppressive ruler speaks about the ramifications of rebellion, threatening to chase any dissidents through space and time. It's a first-person action game and features footage of the protagonist causing aspects of the world to turn back in time, but no release date was provided. Well, that was all of the games that were shown off. They also announced a black 1TB edition of the Xbox Series S, which is releasing on the 1st of September. But of course that wasn't the only showcase that we had recently, as there was also the Ubisoft Forward, which I briefly mentioned. They kicked it off with a new look at Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which looks a lot like a Far Cry Avatar edition, basically. But Avatar Frontiers of Pandora will be coming out on December the 7th for PS5, PC and Xbox Series X. Next up was XDefiant announcing a new open beta from June the 21st to the 23rd. Its aim is to address the issues raised in its previous closed beta, and they're also looking to stress test the servers as much as possible before release. XDefiant is a free-to-play multiplayer shooter. The full game will release on an unspecified date later this summer. They also promised to release a new map every month. Then we got another look at Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which we first saw at Summer Games Fest. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a semi-open world side-scrolling platformer and releases January 18th, 2024. Next up was The Division Resurgence, which is a free-to-play mobile spin-off of The Division, and it's due out in fall of 2023. Then we had Skull and Bones announcing that it's going to get a closed beta from August the 25th to the 28th, and following that was The Crew Motorfest, which is the third entry in Ubisoft's racing series, which is set in Hawaii, The Crew Motorfest comes out on September the 14th, but will also have a closed beta from July the 21st to the 23rd. Then they moved into Assassin's Creed, starting with Assassin's Creed Nexus VR, which is coming to MetaQuest 2 and will star franchise protagonists Ezio Auditore, Cassandra and Connor. There was also Assassin's Creed Mirage, of course, which showed off some gameplay, which certainly made it look like they were upholding their promise to bring the franchise back to its roots. Assassin's Creed Mirage is a prequel to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, filling in the story of Basim, who appeared in that game. Assassin's Creed Mirage is out on October the 12th. Ubisoft ended their showcase with the gameplay reveal of Star Wars Outlaws, which we talked about earlier. Another showcase that we had was from Capcom, and leading the Capcom Showcase was a replay of the reveal of the trailer for Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, which of course originally debuted in the Xbox Game Showcase, as previously mentioned. Capcom then announced a brand new Mega Man 2D platforming game called Mega Man X Dive Offline. It appears to be a new game in the Mega Man X series, and uses many of the levels that appeared in previous X games, though characters that exist in other branches of Mega Man lore will also be available to play. You'll be able to improve and upgrade individual characters, weapons and craft things as you take on its numerous levels. There will be 100 different characters, including brand new ones, and over 900 stages to play. It will be available sometime in 2023 on PC, iOS and Android. There was then a brief break to remind viewers of the recent Street Fighter VI release, the upcoming Capcom Pro Tour with a $2 million prize pool, and the upcoming release of the Resident Evil 4 Remake VR. Capcom then showed off a very brief new look at its previously announced sci-fi action game, Pragmata. It was revealed in mid-2020. The trailer opened with a little girl playing on the floor as her companion fought robots around her. As he picked her up and ran out of the room, a note that she was writing floats through the air. The camera zooms in and we see an announcement for a change in the release date. A brief montage of melee action then followed. Previously announced for 2023, Capcom has decided to postpone the release of Pragmata indefinitely. Shuta Kami, creator of Ace Attorney and Ghost Trick, provided a brief demonstration for Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, and a demo of the game is currently available, with all your progress carrying through to the full release. You'll take the role of the spirit of Sissel, who has been recently murdered. You'll possess various objects and manipulate them, assist in solving other murders of various people, while also working towards uncovering your own memories, and the circumstances of your own death. It launches on the 30th of June 2023. Capcom then announced that the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy will be getting remasters. They are the 4th, 5th and 6th mainline Ace Attorney games, following the Phoenix Wright trilogy. The trilogy is planned for release in early 2024. Takuro Kirioka, the director of the cooperative dino shooter Exoprimal, then featured in a segment to speak about the game ahead of its July launch. A new story trailer was then shown that featured the origins of the exosuits, which are a central focus of the game, created by a character called Dr. Steins. It appears there's going to be quite a lot of time travel hijinks in the story, and the masses of dinosaurs are key to harnessing the ability to do that, or at least their blood will be. The game will be available on the 14th of July, 2023. A second open beta test, which will feature story missions, will occur from the 16th of June to the 18th of June, 2023. Capcom then closed their showcase with Dragon's Dogma 2. It was the same trailer from the PlayStation Showcase last month. But that's not all from Capcom, as June the 11th marked 40 years since the company was established, so to mark the occasion, the new Capcom Town website was created. Billed by Capcom as the ultimate digital tourist destination, Capcom Town will be updated regularly with new features. At launch, the site already includes a number of areas, including a retro games section, a museum and a merch factory, where players can download Capcom-themed Twitter icons and pages dedicated to Capcom's CEO and COO, giving history on the company. The museum section features over 500 pieces of artwork, design documents and video and music selections from a number of Capcom series, including Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Mega Man, Devil May Cry, Ace Attorney and Ghost and Goblins. The retro game section, meanwhile, lets users play a selection of Capcom games, either using their keyboard or plugging in a controller. The games available at the moment are Final Fight, Mega Man, Mega Man 2, Mega Man X, and Street Fighter 2. Each game can be played in their Western NES or SNES versions, or the Japanese Famicom or Super Famicom versions. However, for our last story, Squanch Games CEO and director Mike Fridley has announced the first DLC for High on Life. It's set 2 years after the original game ends, and it's going for something of a vibe change to horror, with the name High on Knife. The DLC stars Knifey, who is a weapon voiced by Michael Cusack, and the trailer shows off various new characters, enemies and environments, with a notable shift in atmosphere. High on Knife does not feature Justin Roiland reprising his role in the game, as he's resigned from Squanch Games following his 3-year criminal case, which was dropped back in March, due to insufficient evidence. High on Knife will be coming sometime this fall. But that's all we have time for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed this week, please leave me in the comment section below as always, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.